Picture this as clear as you can. You climb out of your car, stepping into the cool autumn air. A mix of lit ghostly decorations alongside a variety of jack-o'-lanterns surrounds you. But as spirited as these things are, they are not what draws your attention. That honor lies with the building in front of you, already drawing a line of people waiting their turn to enter. Its name is Terror on the Square, and it's a haunted house in the small historic town of Petersburg, Illinois. But it could just as well be any of the hundreds of such attractions that we flock to every Halloween. And on Halloween of 2019, a very special haunted house attraction opened up on the NintendoSwitch. Luigi's Mansion 3. And while there's a lot we can say and will say about this game, what I really want to explore here is how Luigi's Mansion leverages scares and surprises within a controlled setting, akin to a haunted house, in order to spur the player onwards, while also transforming Luigi into the hero that nobody expected him to be. And to begin, we might as well hop in the DeLorean to see how this all started. You see, I've long been interested in the evolution of the fear response. In the distant past, you might have a spike in awareness while walking through the woods and hearing a sound, not because that sound necessarily means you're in danger, but because by erring on the side of caution, it increases your chances of survival. After all, it's probably just the wind, but it could be something else. This made us more aware of our surroundings while also saving our adrenaline response for when there may be an actual threat. And one of the more interesting applications of this knowledge was the advent of the haunted house. Now, traditions of setting up these attractions date back to the 1800s with British wax museums, or to trails of terror set up in suburban neighborhoods by cash-strapped parents during the Great Depression, a time where candy was a luxury. Now, it is at this point in the video where you're probably saying, Zoo, what the hell are you yapping about, and what does this have to do with Luigi's Mansion 3? Well, turns out, a lot. And that's because haunted houses are set up to allow us to experience a fear response without the threat of any actual harm. And that's also the kind of thing that Nintendo decided would be a perfect match for Luigi's unique gameplay identity. Haunted houses utilize three things to elicit these tricks and treats to our psyche. The first being architectural pacing, the second being physical actors in the space, and finally, the third being special effects. And I would like to examine how Luigi's Mansion does the same thing, starting with that architectural pacing. The most important consideration in setting up any haunted house is always going to be the location. In this case, Nintendo chose a hotel. Luigi and company received an impromptu invitation to the Last Resort Hotel for a bit of break after all the kart racing and Goomba stomping. After checking in and taking a nap, he awakens to discover the luxurious facade of the hotel has transformed into a decrepit spook house, and that his brother and the rest of his party have been captured by the mischievous King Boo. Barely escaping the trap, it is up to the reluctant Luigi to find a way to free his friends and stop King Boo once and for all. The way architectural pacing works is that a space has to be in line with the expectations of whoever is utilizing it. And this is important, because if you don't buy into the space that you're occupying, it becomes hard to accept the overall fantasy that space is trying to convey. The ghost houses of old in Super Mario World and the fortresses of Super Mario Bros. 3 leverage architecture by putting the exit in sight while not allowing you a way to directly reach it. The various floors of the Last Resort emulating this by way of the elevator. Here it's always in sight. On every floor it's right there. But in order to get the button to move it to another floor, you have to check that particular floor for clues, solve environmental puzzles, and fend off ghostly attacks. You're in for both tricks and treats with these floors as well. While earlier games in the series were centered on mansions and therefore had to be relegated to a unified design principles, the decision to make the Last Resort a hotel with themed floors blows the door off the hinges in terms of any creative freedom the developers have. From an ancient Egyptian floor where all of the ghosts are dressed as mummies, to an overgrown botanical paradise, this diversity of design also allows for a variety of scenarios. So while the castle-themed floor might be filled with a variety of spikes and stair traps, the hotel shopping center will require you instead to recover keys to the various shops in order to proceed. The result is a slow and deliberate gameplay loop that rewards your curiosity and serves to always keep you on your toes. Literally everything you see can be interacted with in some way, shape, or form. Mansion 3 uses a physics-based system that allows Luigi to use the various tools that he will acquire as the adventure marches on to pull back curtains, break open containers, or squeeze into nooks and crannies to locate hidden areas within the hotel. The result of these rummagings often leads to rewards such as money or collectible gems, which can be spent with a certain character that you'll meet later on extra lives, or even the reveal of secret areas within the hotel, and sometimes even leads to enemy encounters forcing you to fight. And it is here that our discussion will turn to the importance of actors, in this case the ghosts, and Luigi himself. Just like any good hot dog must have a good quality mustard, and no, I will not be taking any arguments on this, all mustards are not made equal, and you can fight me if you disagree. A haunted house is only as good as the ghosts and ghoulies within, and Luigi's Mansions has these in spades. You'll regularly encounter pests such as spiders and bats, not to mention ghosts like goobs who use the environment to their advantage, trappers who hide in doorways waiting to ambush you, oozers who use scare and run tactics, and hammers who are the big, angry, smashy ghosts. And these are just the standard threats that you'll experience on each floor. But on every single floor of the hotel, you'll also have to contend with unique specters that act as the boss and main set pieces of each floor. Acting as a sort of test for the various mechanics you've been learning and using as you explore the hotel. From an angry composer to a lazy mall cop, these encounters are some of the biggest highlights of the game, lending cohesion and a sense of progression to the experience, as you'll need to defeat them to move on to other floors because they often hold the elevator button that you are so desperately looking for. Then there is Luigi. In any real-world haunted house, you are the actor on the stage that reacts organically to the scares, but since you can't do that in a video game, it's important that you be able to inhabit a character with the same fears, flaws, and hang-ups as you might have from time to time. And Luigi fits this perfectly. Throughout the game, he is expressive and vulnerable in a way that a character like Mario is never expected to be, a reluctant hero that does not want to be in this situation, but is making the most of it. Fortunately, he has some help. Professor Egad has provided you with some great ghost-busting equipment, and this is the primary way that you are going to be interacting with the hotel and the other actors that are within it. While your spirit vacuum will simply suck up the lesser crawlies like snakes or spiders, with ghosts, Luigi's going to need to get a bit more creative. Luckily, the Poltergust also has a flash to stun ghosts, a plunger shot to grab and throw objects in the environment or to tear shields that ghosts are using away, and an X-ray function to identify invisible adversaries. All of these can be used in tandem to combat and ultimately suck up any troublemaking spirits trying to ruin your day. And if that isn't enough, you can also give them a good slam as well for a more advantage and damage. But far and away the most interesting thing that you are given control over is Luigi, a slime clone of Luigi that can squeeze through small cracks during exploration, or be deployed to enable sneak attacks on enemies as they focus on Luigi. Now there is a risk-reward dynamic to this, as you can only control one at a time, and that leaves Luigi open to attack, but it's an incredible system that really opens up the combat variety in comparison with earlier entries. I did have issues at times accidentally triggering the deployment of Luigi when I didn't mean to by pressing down on the stick too hard, resulting in me taking a beating where I should have been able to avoid it, and while I would not call this a major issue, it happened enough for me to be worth mentioning. In terms of those special effects, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a stunning showcase for the NintendoSwitch. Detail is present in every room, and the full spectrum of color is used to great effect, from glowing green to pitch blacks. As stated earlier, everything in the hotel has physics, and almost nothing is static. Animation is also top-notch, from the way Luigi quivers to the debris strewn around the room as you suction everything you find. There is also a lot of variety, from the visuals of the ghosts to the themes of the various hotel floors, all without a single hitch of slowdown. It's the very definition of a feast for your eyes. Composition-wise, musically, the game is an auditory treat for long-time Mario Universe fans, as some tracks contain Easter eggs inspired by past games' spooky stages. The Hotel Shop's music is a remix of the Ghost House song from new Super Mario Bros. Console games, and Professor Egad's lab plays a jazzy remix of the original Luigi's Mansion theme song. The game also has a full range of new music that sets the tone for the spooky mystery unfolding. Sound effects were also spot on, from Luigi's calls to his brother Mario, to the various clings and clangs of the poltergeist sweeping up everything in its path. Even Luigi sounds sufficiently wet, for lack of a better term. And the one issue I can detect is that the beeping when you're low on energy was annoying and unnecessary when they could have easily used the emotive Luigi and his body language to convey the same thing. Back in 1969, Disneyland unveiled the Haunted Mansion, one of the first modern haunted houses in an attempt to recover from the loss of Walt Disney a few years prior. Without Disney's vision, others had to step up and try something new that would attract fans, and the result was an attraction that to this day remains one of the park's most popular rides. It is often said that courage requires opportunity in order to manifest. Like Disney Company losing their visionary, EAD was unavailable in this instance, and new Luigi's Mansion games were still needed, so next level games like Luigi stepped up and in this case hit a home run. There is nothing else on the Switch quite like Luigi's Mansion 3. The graphical wizardry, the endlessly interactive hotel, the variety of spooks and ghosts, and the deliberate pacing puts you about as close as you can possibly be to the inside of a haunted house attraction without being in one physically yourself. Senses and fears heightened, but never in any real danger. Sadly, this was also my first Luigi's Mansion game. I started my gaming journey with Luigi. The first game I ever played was Super Mario Bros. As Luigi, learning how to play by watching my dad's Player One Mario and emulating his action on my turns. It was a great introduction to the character and to the hobby, but it wouldn't stay that way, sadly. The next game I had the displeasure of playing was Mario is Missing, a game focused more on teaching traffic safety than delivering any memorable gameplay. And while my sister owned a GameCube, it was her system, and she was primarily an Animal Crossing player, leaving me with very little time to explore the first mansion with Luigi. And what I will say definitively is while I don't remember much about the first game, it still left an impact on me, as Luigi finally has a gameplay identity separate from his brother. It's a game that brings all its pieces together, and like any good haunted house, it tells its story as much through its environment as it does through its characters. The story that is both unexpected hero and an unexpected game dev coming together to do what is necessary in the shadow of those much more revered. That's what I get out of Luigi's Mansion 3 when I think back on my time with it. There's some overthinking there, always is. It's who I am. It's what I do here. But one thing I can say with no added context needed is that Luigi's Mansion 3 pulls all the lessons that make haunted houses like Terror on the Square great, and in doing so, makes for a frightfully good time. Hey everyone, glad that we could get this out in time for Halloween. Just wanted to say once again, thank you for all the tricks and the treats. Hope you liked the video, and if you also got a trick or a treat out of this, consider giving this new channel a like and subscribe. Maybe hit the bell or whatever they call it these days. I don't do this on other channels, but this is me trying something new. Plus, if you like the video, that will help you get more of these when I do put out new content. So I guess that's one reason to subscribe, right? And why not put either something you learned or something you know below in the comments section. So many myths around video games and characters like Luigi that it'd be great to compare notes. Till next time, have fun, don't get in too much trouble, and I'll see you again and sooner than you think.